The topic, how to beat writer's block. That's what we're going to be wrestling with today. In the meantime, thank you for liking, for subscribing. If you're finding value in these videos, I really do appreciate you hitting all those appropriate buttons. Thank you so much. Let's jump in. Writer's block is a tricky thing. You'll meet some writers that say, writer's block doesn't exist. Other people say, writer's block totally exists. I probably fall somewhere in the middle. Sometimes I'm like, no, it doesn't. Sometimes I am. But what I want to do is I want to give you 5 tools, tricks, whatever, to kind of pierce through what writer's block is doing to you. So the first thing I want to mention is attitude. Now, a lot of times when we write because we just enjoy writing. It's fun for us and it's a release for us. Some people might go play sports or work out, and others of us like to write. I mean, I enjoy playing golf, but I also like to just sit and write. It's fun to me. I enjoy it, and I feel very satisfied when I'm done. But the thing is, if I start treating writing like a hobby, then I'm only doing it when I want to do it. So I only do it when I'm feeling good or when I'm feeling up to it. And then when I'm not feeling up to it, not feeling good, I don't want to do it. And sometimes what that does, if I have enough days in a row where I don't want to write, now I feel like I've got writer's block. Well, that's not it. It's really boiling down to my attitude. If I'm going to write, and if I want to take it serious, I kind of have to treat it in some ways like a job. If I'm an accountant, there are things about my job that I like. I probably like numbers, I like math, I like making sure everything balances out, but there also might be things that I don't like doing. But I still do them because it's my job. I still show up to work, I do my thing, I move on. And some days I really like working, and some days I kind of don't like working. And writing is the same way. You have to treat it mentally as a job in some ways. So change your attitude a little bit and just kind of treat it like a job. I'm going to work. I'm going to write. And this is what I'm going to do. And I do that from this time to this time to this time, which leads into the second thing, routine. If you're writing and you're writing very sporadically, sometimes your brain just doesn't show up. And that makes us think like, I've got writer's block. Well, the thing is, if you have a routine, it helps your brain show up. It knows, between this time and this time every day, we're writing. And it doesn't have to be a long time. I mean, maybe you've got a full-time job, you got family, you got kids, your life is busy, or you're in college and you're doing stuff and studying for a history exam and got to write a paper and you really want to write this novel, but you're kind of new and it's hard to do it. The thing is, try to find routine. Try to find some time, 30 minutes a day, an hour a day, where you're writing. And you always write. Maybe you get up early, maybe you stay up a little late, but having a routine actually helps you kind of crack through writer's block when it's annoying you. Having a dedicated time is helpful. Something else that might be helpful, maybe your schedule is such that you can't really have a dedicated time. So then what you want to think about and consider is having a dedicated place. A place that you always go to write. When I sit in this chair, in this position, I'm writing. Most of my family knows that if I'm sitting in a chair and I've got my feet propped up and my laptop's in my lap, I'm writing. Leave dad alone, right? Dad's writing. So have a dedicated place or a dedicated time or both. Those will both kind of help you crack through writer's block. Third is research. Now this one's a little dangerous because some people start researching and they go way down the rabbit hole and they never come back and they never write anything. That's bad. So we don't want to do that. Okay. But sometimes if you're stuck, if you're having problems, so you've got your character kind of backed into a corner, you don't know how they're going to get out, research often is a good way to find a solution because you learn something or you figure something out like, I didn't know that those chemicals, when mixed that way, it does this other thing. Well, those chemicals are in that room. So if that, now all of a sudden you have a way out. So maybe by literally blowing a hole in the wall. But doing a little bit of research can help. So some people like to do research at the beginning and then they just write. I tend to, so not everybody does it this way, and that's fine, but I tend to do some research at the beginning, and then I do research a little bit here and there as I write. And sometimes my research becomes a little different. I'll read books. Sometimes I talk to professionals working in the field. I've tried to cultivate friendships with people who are in multiple professions so that if I have a question, I can at least go to them or ask them who I could talk to. And sometimes that's really helpful. So sometimes just a conversation helps. Sometimes you just sit down with another person and you just kind of talk out your story. That is a form of research. You are bouncing ideas off of. You're trying to find a solution. So sometimes just sitting and talking about it is helpful. But one other way to kind of crack through writer's block, doing research. The fourth way, and this one might be a little controversial to some of you because some of you are like, no, I don't do that. That's not how I write. But outlining is a great way to break through writer's block. Why? Well, if you have an outline, you know what you're writing, so you don't usually get stuck. The times when I tend to get stuck as a writer are times when my outline is a little fuzzy. I haven't clearly sussed it out, and then I get to that point and I kind of get a little stuck. And then I have to back up and I work out an outline, then I go back to do it. Now, does that mean that you have to have a full-fledged outline, beat sheet, every scene, what's going on, 10-page character bio of each of your characters and all that? No. No, you don't. But you do need to have some idea of a direction. So if you feel like you are struggling with writer's block, one tip I would give you is try to up your outline game just a little. That doesn't mean you need to go whole hog and go do something that you're not used to doing. Like, I've never done index cards. I'm going to do the whole thing in index cards before I write anything. Well, you may be biting off more than you can chew and you might get a little frustrated. I would just suggest just try to up it a little bit. If you tend to outline on one note card, okay, maybe try to break it into 2 or 3 or 5. And that's it. Just to give you a little bit more of a direction that might help you break through your writer's block. Last, write the bad version. So a lot of times when we're writing, we have this fear that it's going to be bad. It's going to be horrible. And that kind of paralyzes in some way because we think, well, I can't write the good version, so I don't know what to write. And we kind of get paralyzed. So embrace it. And just write the sucky version. Write the version that's gonna be bad and embrace it and know it's gonna be bad. Write the cliche. Write the simple thing. It's fine. What that does often is it helps you find the solution. So writing the bad version helps you find the solution, and you're also writing. So you're getting in the habit of writing, and it's helping you kind of work through this writer's block if it's kind of causing you to stop writing. So whatever you call writer's block, or however you treat it, whether it's a thing that like cages you in a closet and doesn't feed you until you turn out a bunch of pages, or if it's just like a ghost that haunts you or a fear that you have, using these 5 things will often help you kind of start to break through the writer's block, because we don't want to have it. We want to be writing. We want to be telling our stories. And that's why we write. Thank you for liking, subscribing, bell, all those notifications, all that stuff. Really do appreciate it. And I hope that you have a great experience telling a story. If you're going to tell a story that matters. See you later.